The Galactic Stage. The vast expanse of the Milky Way had long been dominated by the Zarkan, a species as ancient as they were formidable. Their sleek biomechanical bodies glided through the cosmos with an air of superiority that had gone unchallenged for millennia. To the Zarkan, the galaxy was their playground, and all other species were merely pawns in their grand game of expansion and control. From their capital world of Zarkanix Prime, a planet of gleaming metal spires and pulsating energy fields, the Zarkan High Council surveyed their domain. High Counselor Vextor, his silver skin shimmering with bioluminescent patterns, gazed at the holographic map of known space. His multifaceted eyes narrowed as he focused on a small, unremarkable section of the Orion Arm. What news of the newcomers? Vextor's voice resonated with a metallic timbre, addressing the gathered council. Council member Zara stepped forward, her tendrils twitching with a mix of curiosity and disdain. The species calling themselves humans have achieved faster than light travel, High Counselor. They are spreading rapidly from their home system. A murmur of surprise rippled through the council chamber. It was rare for a new species to master FTL technology without Zarkan intervention or detection. Vextor's bioluminescent patterns pulsed with interest. "Show me," he commanded. The holographic map zoomed in on a small blue-green planet orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. Earth, as its inhabitants called it, seemed insignificant in the grand tapestry of the galaxy. Yet from this tiny world, ships were now venturing forth, carrying with them a species that would soon shake the very foundations of the Zarkan Empire. Meanwhile, aboard the Earth ship Horizon, Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge, her dark eyes fixed on the starfield before her. The Horizon was humanity's first deep space exploration vessel, a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Its sleek design and advanced propulsion system were the culmination of decades of research and development. "Status report, Lieutenant Reeves," Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Lieutenant Jack Reeves, a young officer with a shock of red hair, consulted his console. "All systems nominal, Captain. We're approaching the coordinates for our first extrasolar colony." Chen nodded, a small smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. This mission represented humanity's first step into the galactic community, a dream that had captivated her species for centuries. Little did they know that their arrival on the cosmic stage was about to send shockwaves through the established order. As the Horizon prepared to drop out of FTL, alarms suddenly blared across the bridge. Reeves' fingers danced across his console, his face pale with shock. "Captain, we've got multiple contacts. Large vessels, unknown configuration, closing fast." Chen's training kicked in instantly. Red alert. Shields up, all hands to battle stations. The space around the Horizon warped and shimmered as a fleet of Zarkan warships dropped out of hyperspace. Their biomechanical hulls pulsed with otherworldly energy, dwarfing the human vessel. Aboard the lead Zarkan ship, Commander Krovax observed the tiny human vessel with a mixture of curiosity and contempt. "So, these are the newcomers," he mused, his voice a low hum. "Primitive, but they've managed to stumble into our territory. Let's see how they respond to a proper greeting." Back on the Horizon, Chen gripped the arms of her command chair, her mind racing through options. They were outgunned and outnumbered, facing an alien force they knew nothing about. Yet, retreat was not an option. This encounter would shape humanity's future among the stars. "Open a channel," Chen ordered, her voice unwavering. "Let's try to communicate." As the comm officer worked to establish contact, Chen addressed her crew. "Remember your training. We're representing all of humanity out here. Whatever happens next, we face it together." The main view screen flickered to life, revealing the alien visage of Commander Krovax. His silver skin and multifaceted eyes were unlike anything the human crew had ever seen. "Unknown vessel," Krovax's translated voice reverberated through the bridge. "You have entered Zarkan space. Identify yourselves and state your purpose or be destroyed." Chen stood, drawing herself to her full height. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth ship Horizon. We come in peace, seeking to establish diplomatic relations and trade with other spacefaring civilizations. Krovax's bioluminescent patterns flickered with amusement. Peace, trade, you stumble into the domain of the Zarkan Empire and speak of such trivial matters. Your naivety is almost endearing, human. Chen's eyes narrowed, but she maintained her composure. We may be new to the galactic stage, Commander, but we are not to be underestimated. We extend the hand of friendship, but we are prepared to defend ourselves if necessary. The Zarkan commander's laughter echoed through the comm channel. Defend yourselves. Against the might of the Zarkan. Your species' audacity is remarkable. Perhaps you will provide some amusement before we inevitably subjugate your worlds. As tensions escalated, neither the humans nor the Zarkan realized that this encounter would be the catalyst for a conflict that would reshape the galaxy. Humanity, long isolated on their blue marble, was about to show the cosmos what they were truly capable of. On Zarkanix Prime, High Counselor Vextor received the report of the encounter. His bioluminescent patterns pulsed with intrigue. So these humans dare to challenge us. How refreshing. Let us see what they're made of. As the Horizon faced off against the Zarkan fleet, the stage was set for a confrontation that would echo across the stars. Humanity, the underdog, was about to bare its teeth, and the galaxy would never be the same. The underestimated species. In the months following the tense first contact between humanity and the Zarkan, an uneasy peace settled over the galaxy. The Zarkan, confident in their superiority, allowed humans limited access to their vast interstellar network, believing they could control and eventually subjugate this upstart species. On Earth, the United Terran Council convened an emergency session. Representatives from every nation gathered in the Grand Assembly Hall in Geneva, their faces etched with concern and determination. Dr. Amelia Zhao, Earth's leading xenobiologist, addressed the council. Her holographic image towered over the assembly, her eyes bright with excitement despite the gravity of the situation. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, the Zarkan have granted us access to their scientific database. While limited, it's a treasure trove of knowledge. Their understanding of physics, biology, and engineering surpasses our own by centuries, perhaps millennia. Murmurs rippled through the council chamber. Some faces showed fear, others determination. However, Dr. Zhao continued, a smile playing at her lips. They've made a critical error. They underestimate us. They see our technology as primitive, our minds as simple, but what they fail to understand is the power of human adaptability and creativity. In the following weeks, humanity threw itself into a frenzy of learning and innovation. Scientists and engineers worked around the clock, absorbing and adapting Zarkan technology at an unprecedented rate. Meanwhile, in the depths of space, Captain Sarah Chen and the crew of the Horizon found themselves serving as reluctant ambassadors. They were invited to a Zarkan outpost on the edge of human space, ostensibly as a gesture of goodwill. As Chen's shuttle docked with a massive Zarkan station, she couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. The biomechanical structure pulsed with energy, its very walls seeming alive. Commander Krovax greeted them, his multifaceted eyes gleaming with barely concealed disdain. Welcome, humans, to a small taste of Zarkan civilization. Try not to touch anything. We wouldn't want you to hurt yourselves with technology beyond your comprehension. Chen bit back a retort, maintaining her diplomatic composure. We appreciate your hospitality, Commander. We're eager to learn and share knowledge. As they toured the station, Lieutenant Reeves discreetly scanned everything with a device hidden in his uniform. Back on Earth, the data he collected would prove invaluable. Months passed, and the galaxy watched in growing astonishment as humans began to make their mark. Trade negotiations that the Zarkan expected to dominate turned in humanity's favor, with Earth's diplomats displaying a cunning and adaptability that caught their alien counterparts off guard. In the scientific community, human researchers began publishing papers that built upon Zarkan knowledge. pushing boundaries in ways the aliens had never considered. Dr. Zhao's team made a breakthrough in genetic engineering, developing a method to enhance human resilience to various alien environments. On the industrial front, human corporations, armed with adapted Zarkan technology, began producing goods that rivaled alien products. The Zarkan, who had expected to flood Earth markets with their superior technology, found themselves facing unexpected competition. High Counselor Vextor called an emergency session of the Zarkan High Council. His bioluminescent patterns pulsed with agitation as he addressed the gathered leaders. "These humans," he hissed, "are proving to be more than mere amusement. They adapt too quickly, innovate in ways we never anticipated. They must be contained before they become a true threat." Council member Zara, who had initially dismissed the humans, now spoke with caution. "Perhaps we should reconsider our approach, High Counselor. The humans have shown potential as allies rather than subjects. Their creativity could be an asset to the Empire." Vextor's patterns flashed angrily. "An asset? They are a pestilence, spreading through our territory, challenging our supremacy. No, they must be put in their place." As the Zarkan debated, humanity continued to surge forward. On a distant mining colony, human engineers unveiled a new type of excavation drone, one that could operate in environments that even Zarkan technology struggled with. The mineral wealth extracted by these drones soon made Earth a key player in the galactic economy. In the realm of artificial intelligence, human programmers made unprecedented strides. They created AI systems that could interface with and even improve upon Zarkan technology. The aliens, who had long believed their mastery of AI to be unparalleled, found themselves scrambling to keep up. Captain Chen, now promoted to Admiral, stood on the bridge of the newly commissioned UES Defiant, Earth's first capital ship, built with reverse-engineered Zarkan technology. As she gazed at the sleek lines and advanced systems of her new command, she felt a surge of pride. "Admiral," her XO reported, "we're picking up a distress signal from a Zarkan outpost in the Arcturus sector. They're under attack by an unknown force." Chen's eyes narrowed. This was an opportunity to show the galaxy what humanity was truly capable of. "Set course for Arcturus, maximum speed. Let's show the Zarkan what their primitive allies can do." As the Defiant leaped into FTL, news of the impending rescue spread through human space. On Earth, the United Terran Council watched with bated breath. This would be humanity's first true test on the galactic stage. In the Arcturus sector, a Zarkan defensive fleet struggled against a swarm of crystalline entities, beings of pure energy that defied conventional weapons. Commander Krovax, his ship badly damaged, watched in disbelief as the UES Defiant dropped out of FTL and immediately engaged the attackers. Human ingenuity was on full display as the Defiant unleashed a barrage of weapons that combined Zarkan energy technology with Earth's mastery of particle physics. The crystalline entities, immune to standard energy weapons, found themselves vulnerable to the hybrid assault. As the battle raged, Krovax couldn't help but marvel at the humans' tactical acumen. The Defiant moved with a grace that belied its size, its maneuvers unpredictable and effective. In a matter of hours, the attackers were routed, and the Zarkan outpost was saved. In the aftermath, as human medical teams assisted the wounded Zarkan, Krovax approached Admiral Chen. His multifaceted eyes studied her with newfound respect. "It seems we may have misjudged your species, Admiral," he admitted grudgingly. "Your actions today have saved many Zarkan lives." Chen nodded, a small smile on her lips. "We're full of surprises, Commander. Perhaps it's time for our peoples to engage in true cooperation, as equals." As news of the battle spread, the galaxy's perception of humanity began to shift. The upstart species from a backwater planet had proven themselves on the galactic stage. But with their rising prominence came new challenges and threats. The Zarkan High Council, shaken by these developments, began to see humans not as potential subjects, but as dangerous rivals. The stage was set for a conflict that would reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. Humanity, once dismissed as primitive, now stood ready to claim its place among the stars. The Zarkan, and indeed the entire galaxy, were about to learn a valuable lesson. Never underestimate the potential of the human spirit. The spark of conflict. The rescue at Arcturus marked a turning point in human-Zarkan relations. While many Zarkan citizens and lower-ranking officials began to view humans with a mixture of respect and curiosity, the High Council saw only a growing threat to their dominion. High Counselor Vextor paced the grand chamber of the Zarkan High Council, his bioluminescent patterns pulsing with barely contained rage. "We have allowed these humans too much freedom," he snarled. "They grow stronger by the day, challenging our supremacy. This cannot continue." Council member Zara, ever the voice of caution, spoke up. "Perhaps diplomacy." "Diplomacy?" Vextor cut her off. "No, the time for words has passed. We must remind these upstarts of their place in the galaxy." The decision was made. The Zarkan Empire would launch a swift, overwhelming strike against key human outposts. They believed their superior numbers and centuries of battle experience would quickly bring the humans to heel. They could not have been more wrong. The first attacks came without warning. Zarkan warships dropped out of hyperspace above human colonies, their weapons primed for destruction. But instead of the easy victories they expected, they found themselves facing a prepared and determined enemy. On New Eden, the largest human colony outside the Sol system, Governor Elena Rodriguez stood in the command center, her face illuminated by the glow of tactical displays. Klaxons blared as Zarkan ships filled the skies. "Activate the planetary shield," she ordered, her voice steady despite the chaos. The shield, a marvel of human ingenuity combined with adapted Zarkan technology, sprang to life. The alien weapons fire splashed harmlessly against its shimmering surface. Admiral Sarah Chen, aboard the UES Defiant, received the distress calls from multiple colonies simultaneously. Her jaw set with determination as she addressed her fleet. "All ships, prepare for immediate jump. The Zarkan want a war. Let's show them they've picked the wrong species to bully." Across human space, a carefully orchestrated defense plan sprang into action. Years of preparation, hidden from prying Zarkan eyes, now bore fruit. Stealth satellites, cloaked with technology that even the Zarkan couldn't detect, suddenly came online. They fired precision strikes, disabling key systems on the alien warships. On Earth, the United Terran Council convened an emergency session. President Adebayo addressed the assembled leaders, his deep voice resonating with resolve. "We had hoped for peace, but the Zarkan have chosen war. Humanity will not bow. We will not break. We will show the galaxy the true strength of the human spirit." As the initial Zarkan assault faltered, High Counselor Vextor watched in disbelief as reports flooded in. Human defenses were far more advanced than their intelligence had suggested. Worse, the humans were counterattacking with weapons and tactics the Zarkan had never encountered. Commander Krovax, leading the assault on New Eden, found his fleet in disarray. Human ships seemed to appear out of nowhere, striking with pinpoint accuracy before disappearing again. "Impossible," he muttered, watching another of his cruisers erupt in flames. "How can they be outmaneuvering us?" The answer lay in a breakthrough made by Dr. Amelia Zhao and her team. They had developed a quantum entanglement communication system, allowing human ships to coordinate instantaneously across vast distances. The Zarkan, relying on traditional faster-than-light communications, found themselves constantly a step behind. But it wasn't just in space that humanity showed its mettle. On the ground, human soldiers equipped with powered exoskeletons and adaptive camouflage proved more than a match for Zarkan ground forces. The aliens, used to overwhelming their enemies with brute force, found themselves outflanked and outfought at every turn. In a hidden facility deep beneath the Mariana Trench, a team of human scientists, led by Dr. Viktor Petrov, worked feverishly on Project Prometheus. It was humanity's ace in the hole, a weapon that could turn the tide of the war decisively. "We're close," Petrov announced, his eyes bleary from lack of sleep but shining with excitement. "A few more days, and we'll be ready for a field test." As the conflict escalated, other alien races watched with growing interest. The Zarkin, long seen as unassailable, were being challenged as never before. Some began to quietly support the humans, seeing an opportunity to break the Zarkin's iron grip on the galaxy. 3 months into the war, the Zarkin launched a massive assault on the Sol system, determined to strike at the heart of human civilization. A vast armada, led by High Counselor Vextor himself, dropped out of hyperspace near Jupiter. Admiral Chen, aboard the Defiant, faced the greatest challenge of her career. The Zarkin fleet outnumbered her forces 3-1. But Chen had a plan, one that would push human ingenuity and courage to its limits. "All ships, initiate Operation Slingshot," she commanded. What followed was a daring maneuver that utilized the gravity wells of Jupiter and its moons to sling human ships at impossible speeds, allowing them to strike at the Zarkin fleet from multiple angles simultaneously. The battle that ensued would be remembered for generations. Human ships danced between the massive Zarkin vessels, their advanced ECM systems confusing alien targeting systems. Meanwhile, squadrons of small, agile fighters piloted by Earth's best slipped through gaps in the Zarkin formation, striking at vital systems with surgical precision. High Counselor Vextor, watching his carefully laid plans crumble, felt fear for the first time in centuries. These humans were unlike any foe the Zarkin had ever faced. They didn't just fight with weapons and ships, but with an indomitable will and a creativity that defied prediction. As the battle reached its climax, Dr. Petrov's voice crackled over a secure channel. "Project Prometheus is ready, Admiral, awaiting your command." Chen took a deep breath, knowing that what came next would change the course of the war, and perhaps the fate of the galaxy itself. "Initiate Project Prometheus," she ordered. In that moment, as a new weapon of unimaginable power prepared to make its debut, the true scale of humanity's potential began to dawn on the Zarkin. They had sought to subjugate what they saw as a primitive species, only to find themselves facing an adversary that might well surpass them. The tide of the war was about to turn, and with it, the balance of power in the galaxy. Humanity, once dismissed as insignificant, was about to show the cosmos what they were truly capable of when pushed to their limits. Humanity unleashed. As the command to initiate Project Prometheus echoed through secure channels, a hush fell over the battlefield. For a moment, it seemed as if the very fabric of space held its breath in anticipation. Then it happened. A burst of energy, unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen, erupted from an unassuming human vessel at the edge of the conflict zone. The energy wave expanded rapidly, engulfing Zarkin ships in its path. But instead of destroying them, it did something far more extraordinary. The biomechanical systems of the Zarkin vessels began to shut down, one by one. Their weapons fell silent, their engines sputtered and died. Even the bioluminescent patterns on the Zarkin themselves flickered and faded. Admiral Chen watched in awe as the Prometheus field swept across the battlefield. "Dr. Petrov," she breathed, "what exactly did you create?" Petrov's voice crackled over the comm, a mixture of pride and wonder in his tone. "We call it the harmonic disruptor, Admiral. It generates a quantum field that interferes with the specific energy frequencies used by Zarkin technology and biology. It doesn't harm them, but it renders them inert." On board his flagship, High Counselor Vextor felt a sensation he hadn't experienced in millennia. Helplessness. His mighty vessel, once the pride of the Zarkin fleet, now drifted lifelessly in space. Around him, his officers struggled in vain to restore power. "Impossible," he whispered, his multifaceted eyes wide with disbelief. "What manner of weapon is this?" As the Zarkin fleet hung defenseless in space, Admiral Chen opened a channel to Vextor's ship. "High Counselor," she said, her voice firm but not unkind, Your fleet is disabled. You're at our mercy. I suggest you consider surrender." Vextor, his pride warring with his instinct for survival, finally bowed his head in defeat. We surrender," he said, the words tasting like ash in his mouth. News of the Zarkan defeat at Sol spread across the galaxy at FTL speeds. Races that had long lived under the shadow of Zarkan dominion watched in amazement as the seemingly invincible empire crumbled before the upstart humans. On Earth, celebrations erupted in every city. Humanity had faced its greatest challenge and emerged victorious. But for those in power, the work was just beginning. President Adebayo addressed the United Terran Council, his face solemn despite the victory. "We have won the war," he said, "but now we face an even greater challenge. We must win the peace." In the days that followed, humanity showed a side of itself that surprised even the Zarkan. Instead of subjugating their defeated foe, as the Zarkan would have done, humans extended a hand of friendship. Dr. Amelia Zhao led a team of scientists to work with Zarkan biologists, helping them adapt to a world without their biomechanical enhancements. "Your biology is fascinating," she told a group of bewildered Zarkan scientists. "There's so much we can learn from each other." Meanwhile, human diplomats, led by the charismatic ambassador Jamal Hassan, began the delicate work of reshaping galactic politics. "The age of empires is over," Hassan declared at a summit of galactic races. "We propose a new era of cooperation, where all species work together for the betterment of the galaxy." Not all humans were happy with this approach. Some called for the complete dismantling of Zarkan civilization, arguing that they couldn't be trusted. But cooler heads prevailed, guided by the wisdom that true peace could only be achieved through understanding and cooperation. Admiral Chen, now hailed as the hero of humanity, found herself in an unexpected role, that of a bridge between humans and Zarkan. She worked closely with Commander Krovax, who had surrendered his fleet early in the conflict, to ease tensions between their species. "We misjudged you," Krovax admitted to Chen one day, as they watched human and Zarkan engineers working together to reverse the effects of the harmonic disruptor. "We saw your adaptability as a threat, not as the gift it truly is." Chen smiled. "And we underestimated the depth of Zarkan culture and knowledge. Together, we can achieve things neither of our species could alone." As the months passed, the galaxy began to transform. The harmonic disruptor, once a weapon of war, was adapted for peaceful purposes. It became a tool for cleaning up space debris and neutralizing dangerous energy anomalies. Human innovation, combined with Zarkan experience and the unique perspectives of other alien races, led to advancements that would have been unthinkable just a few years before. New forms of clean energy were developed, solving resource crises across multiple worlds. Medical breakthroughs extended lifespans and cured diseases long thought incurable. But perhaps the most profound change was in how the various species of the galaxy viewed each other. The human example of victory without vengeance, of strength tempered by compassion, resonated deeply with many. 1 year after the end of the war, a new galactic council was formed. Unlike the Zarkan-dominated politics of the past, this council gave equal voice to all spacefaring races. Humanity, as the architect of this new order, was looked to for leadership, a responsibility they approached with both pride and humility. At the inaugural session of the new council, President Adebayo stood before representatives from across the galaxy. The chamber was a marvel of cooperative engineering, its very structure a symbol of the new era. "We stand here today, not as conquerors, not as rulers, but as partners," Adebayo began. "Humanity's journey to the stars taught us a valuable lesson, that the universe is too vast, too wondrous for any one species to claim dominion over it. Our strength lies not in our ability to subjugate, but in our capacity to cooperate, to see the value in our differences." As he spoke, holographic displays showed scenes from across the galaxy. Human scientists working alongside Zarkan engineers, joint colonization efforts on new worlds, cultural exchanges that bridge the gaps between vastly different species. The challenges we face, climate change, resource scarcity, the very mysteries of the universe itself, are too great for any one of us to solve alone. But together, united in our diversity, there is no challenge we cannot overcome, no frontier we cannot explore. In that moment, as representatives from 100 worlds applauded, the true victory of humanity became clear. They had not just defeated a powerful enemy, they had changed the very nature of galactic civilization. The era of predators and prey was over. A new age of cooperation and mutual understanding had begun. And yet, as humanity celebrated its triumph and looked to a bright future among the stars, none could have predicted the new challenges that awaited them. For in the vast, unknown reaches of the universe, ancient forces stirred, awakened by the echoes of the recent conflict. The greatest test of humanity and its newfound allies was yet to come. A new galactic order. 5 years had passed since the formation of the Galactic Cooperative, the new interstellar governing body that replaced the Zarkan Empire. Earth, once a backwater planet, had become the center of a thriving, diverse galactic community. The scars of war were healing, replaced by the fruits of collaboration and shared knowledge. On the newly constructed space station Unity, orbiting a neutral star system, representatives from across the galaxy gathered for the 5th Annual Galactic Symposium. The station was a marvel of joint engineering, its graceful curves and shimmering surfaces a testament to what could be achieved when species work together. Admiral Sarah Chen, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Cooperative, stood at a viewport, gazing out at the star-studded expanse. Beside her, Krovax, the former Zarkan commander turned liaison, mirrored her posture. 5 years ago, I would have thought this impossible, Krovax mused, his multifaceted eyes reflecting the starlight. Humans, Zarkan, and a dozen other species working together in harmony. Chen smiled, the lines around her eyes crinkling. We've come a long way, old friend, but our journey is far from over. Their contemplation was interrupted by Dr. Amelia Zhao, who approached with an excited gleam in her eyes. Ambassador, Commander, you need to see this, she said, gesturing for them to follow. In a nearby laboratory, a team of multi-species scientists huddled around a holographic display. Dr. Zhao took center stage, her fingers dancing across the controls. We've been analyzing the data from our deep space probes, she began, her voice tinged with a mixture of excitement and concern. We've detected something unusual at the edge of the galaxy. The hologram shifted, showing a swirling mass of energy unlike anything they had seen before. It pulsed with an otherworldly light, its tendrils reaching out across vast distances of space. What is it? Chen asked, leaning in for a closer look. Dr. Zhao shook her head. We're not sure, but its energy signature is off the charts. It's like nothing we've ever encountered. Krovax's bioluminescent patterns flickered with agitation. There are old Zarkan legends, he said slowly, of ancient beings that lived between the stars, creatures of pure energy that shaped the very fabric of the universe. A hush fell over the room as the implications sank in. Chen's mind raced with possibilities and potential threats. How long until it reaches populated space? She asked. At its current rate of expansion, Dr. Zhao consulted her data. 5 years, maybe less. Chen straightened, her jaw set with determination. Then we have work to do. Krovax, convene an emergency session of the Galactic Council. Dr. Zhao, I want every available scientist working on this. We need to understand what we're dealing with. As word spread of the approaching anomaly, the galaxy once again found itself facing an unknown threat. But this time, instead of fear and division, there was a sense of united purpose. In the following months, a massive collaborative effort was launched. The harmonic disruptor technology was repurposed to create long-range sensors capable of penetrating the anomaly. Zarkan bioengineers worked alongside human physicists to develop new theories about the nature of the universe. On Earth, A young prodigy named Zora Patel proposed a radical idea. What if we're not just dealing with a natural phenomenon? She suggested during a global think tank. What if this is a form of communication? Her theory sparked a new avenue of research. Linguists from a dozen species came together, attempting to decipher potential patterns in the anomaly's energy fluctuations. As the anomaly drew closer, tensions rose. Some fringe groups called for isolation, for worlds to close their borders and weather the storm alone. But the majority stood firm in their commitment to face the challenge together. 3 years into their preparations, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A joint team of human and Zarkan scientists, led by Dr. Viktor Petrov and a Zarkan physicist named Zoril, managed to establish a rudimentary form of communication with the anomaly. "It's alive," Dr. Petrov announced to a packed auditorium of galactic leaders. "And it's ancient, far older than any of our civilizations." The being, which came to be known as the cosmos consciousness, was indeed trying to communicate. It had been drawn to the galaxy by the unique energy signatures of the war between humanity and the Zarkan, particularly the harmonic disruptor. As the Galactic Cooperative worked to establish more robust communication, they learned that the cosmos consciousness was not one entity, but a collective of energy beings. They had watched the evolution of life in the galaxy for eons, rarely interfering. "They're curious about us," Zoril explained during a council meeting, "about how we've managed to overcome our differences and work together. They see potential in our unity." The approaching encounter was no longer seen as a threat, but as an unprecedented opportunity. The combined knowledge of the cosmos consciousness could revolutionize their understanding of the universe. As the day of contact approached, humanity once again found itself at the forefront of a pivotal moment in galactic history. The United Terran Council, working in concert with the Galactic Cooperative, prepared for first contact with a species that defied conventional understanding. On the eve of the encounter, Ambassador Chen addressed a galaxy-wide broadcast. Billions of beings across thousands of worlds tuned in, united in this historic moment. "Tomorrow, we take our next great leap into the unknown." Chen began, her voice steady and reassuring. "We face this moment not as individual species, not as separate worlds, but as a united galaxy. The challenges we overcome, the bonds we forge, have prepared us for this." She paused, looking directly into the camera. 5 years ago, humanity was new to the galactic stage. We were seen as primitive, as prey to be conquered. But we showed the galaxy that true strength lies not in domination, but in cooperation, in our ability to adapt, to innovate, and to see the best in one another. Images flashed behind her, human and Zarkan children playing together, multi-species research teams making groundbreaking discoveries, the bustling corridors of Unity Station, where a dozen different species mingled freely. Whatever tomorrow brings, we face it together. Not as conquerors, not as victims, but as explorers and peacekeepers. We carry with us the hopes and dreams of countless generations who looked to the stars and imagined a brighter future.